Hello everyone, it's Debbie from Australia and I'm here today with my January 2026 cross stitch update. It is only the 7th of February, so I'm on track for doing the monthly videos this year. January, slow month because of the heat, and I'm hoping this little fan, I've only got a little fan going here to try and keep the makeup on the face, isn't interfering with the sound. When I play it back, if it does, I'll just have to take the deep breath and turn it off and try this again, but he's hoping we can do it in the one go. January, 18,946 stitches, over 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 projects. I had 2 new starts, one finish. One was a start and finish on the same day, and the other is my New Year, New Day start. My start and finish is just a little tiny ornament. It's a series that's got all the different Australian birds in it. This is the Kookaburra. These are by Carrol Nielson. Should be linked below. I love these, they're only little. There were 665 stitches in this. I needed it for a challenge in Down Under Divas, and I did on 20 count, so they are going to be little. He's just a little tiny little fellow, and he's so cute. I have got magpies, which are black and white, very friendly birds. Well, not all the time, they do swoop, but if you feed them, they're really quite friendly. I've got kookaburras, I've got little tiny blue wrens, and there are a couple of others. I just love them. So I'm going to leave this fabric, loosen it off, leave it on the Q-snap, because I think I'll get around to doing the rest of those hopefully in the future. That one was started on the 16th of January and finished on the 16th of January. It's not a before or after, but it just shows you the little bit more detail you actually get when it's a printed photo against the real thing. These were done back in 2013, and I only found them I think a couple of years ago, and I just fell in love with them. New year, new start. A Catrina from Filipina. I have done 2 Bellas. This will be my 3rd. Not all of them, even though they're beautiful, not all of them appeal to me. This one just screamed at me. I'm going to have a big trouble keeping it in the end because my mother took a shine to it. This is only off the printer, so it's not a really clear photo, but she's going to be beautiful. And I am doing it on 32 count. Oh, that's a what is it? The magnifier. Please excuse that. Trying to work out where that glare is coming from. I might just bring it down a fraction. There we go. No, it's not. It's still there. Sorry. I don't know what that is. This is being done on, there's the colour, 32 count Gothic from Picture This Plus. In January, I managed 2,932 stitches, and that is only 2.7%. It is quite difficult to stitch on this fabric, I must admit. It is a very tight 32 count. Getting a bit nervous when it comes to the beading, but oh, the colours are just magnificent. They are beautiful. I didn't think I was going to get to start her because I tried America. I tried Australia first, then America, then England. I did a random search on the net and I could not find black chronic nor black petite treasure braid. So in the end, I am using DMC diamond threads for the single strand metallic threads for because there's a lot of black in her, and it is a digital pattern. It's the first digital pattern I've got from Filipina. You can't search it, won't go into pattern keeper, I think, because he uses coloured symbols and it doesn't like to pick up colour. From the patterns Yeah, it was very expensive. I do love it, but she's going to take a while to get done. I had to get a fat half in order to fit her on the actual to be able to fit it on the projects. Her against the picture, you can see mine's going to be a lot darker. I was worried it wasn't going to come out, but in real life it's looking all right on my computer, but on the TV, well, on my TV screen that's sitting here, it is a lot darker, but you can actually see the black. That's why I was desperate to get my hands on the black thread, because I didn't want to go too far and then find out it wasn't going to work. So they were my two starts and my little finish, very little finish. Straight on to the whips, pretty much standard whips as we go along. First, a stitch in time, Aimee Stewart, Heaven and Earth, the bigger picture. I didn't meet my challenge of getting halfway along, which would have been along here, halfway across that red rose, but I'm very happy with what I've got to. And now I've hit that centre. Not all of them have got this. Mine's got that centre hoop with the stitch in time on it. When you actually call up the colours in the hoop, for like 3 of the colours, it's almost coloured in with your highlight colour. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up around here. These, I can't work out where to put my finger. There we go, down there. There's only a few stitches left in there. And then I'm going to move it so I've got that centre hoop, and I'm going to do the whole thing in one go. Because unless I really get bored with it, which may happen because it's greys, creams. I don't think there's any white in there. Sort of greys and creams and pale blues, and a lot of it. But it's coming along. Before and after. Okay, this is a stitching before and after. As you can see, I've got a lot more done around the blue spool. I'm slowly filling in the gaps, and it's mainly, and I love how I always show you with the mouse, and you just don't get to see that. The book just to the left, maybe the right. The book towards the ladies has got a few gaps in it, not a lot, but I'm filling those in and moving across and filling them in as I go ahead across that top section. And once that's done, like I said, I'll start working on this centre. I've got a few of them where the colours were close to the edge, where it was obviously shadows in a stitch in time writing. I have nicked over and do them, and the scissors are just looking lovely. They're just looking lovely. And keep hitting the wrong button. Oh, that didn't come out very big. It's supposed to jump to the size of the screen, but that's showing you what I've done against the actual picture. So you can see in that hoop there is a fair bit of there's a hell of a lot of that white. I'll probably do some white, do some of the hoop, do some of the white, do some of the stitching, maybe go across to the peachy rose up the top there. We'll have to see how we go. The next one I haven't had out for a little while, and that is At the Met. Friend Amanda from Pennington Terrace got it signed for me in England by Nora. I love this one. This is my girl. She got 1,169 stitches on the blue, which was mainly filling in more of the shawl and the waistband, more of those strands coming down, which is going to be full with beads, and then of course starting the frame that's going up around the side. And then my mum's version, because she liked the green better. And again, oh, that's not very tidy, is it? Let's get that out of the road. She's exactly the same. I think the only difference is over here there's 2 stitches, and that's just to let me know which pattern I'm marking off, because I've got to mark them off separately. But they both, other than 2 stitches, so I can identify which one to start working on, marking off, I always do them concurrently at the same level, so when I'm finished, I'm finished. My project, or my one that I liked, because I really liked the blue, that's the colour of the fabric. My mum really liked the green, and that's them both against the original. So next time I pull them out, I'll probably go to the other side and do the other stand bottom, and then I think most of the stitching on the bottom half's done, and then I'll move up to the top. I always like to do the bottoms first because there's a lot more work in the bottoms, because she's got a very skinny little waist, but there's going to be a lot of 1/1 skin times 2 to do, but we'll get it done. Next one is from Vivsters on Etsy, and it's the Quaker flag. I'm doing the one with the stars, and she's not ironed, but that is where she's up to. Now, this year Down Under Divas brought in a new little challenge thing involving a deck of cards. Now, you could have 1 project per suit. You could have 1 project per card, like Jack, Queen, King, and when they come up you work on them, or you could have 1 for every card depending on the number of whips you actually had. I decided to go with the 4 suits because I've got a Stitch in Time, Winter Quaker, Australian Quaker flag, and Love, which is the 2 cats you'll see in a minute. They are all big projects, they all need a lot of stitches. I'll do a minimum of 250 a week on whichever one's cord. So far the Australian flag's got cord twice, and the count, I can usually get 1 of the squares done, and that was, I think this one was last week, and it was drawn again this week, so that's the one that's got to be done. So it's raging on. It's only all the fill-ins. I'm really enjoying it. I've seen a lot of people who got the bright colours, but you know what? It's too late. It was just too late for me. I didn't even think of it. I followed what they had, but she's coming up nice. This one got 3,202 because I had an error somewhere over here with these vertical lines, so I went through and made sure they're all done. They are all done. The gaps over here is where the big star comes, and if I go really close you might just see the shadow where I had to unpull those, because for that bottom point is fill-in colour. Those stripes are actually, I don't know if I can show you, the diagonals are actually a darker thread than what the stitch is stitched in, except that bottom row. And for some reason I used the darker thread, and I thought if I don't get it out now, it's just not going to get, you know, I'm going to just delay it all the time. So before and after, so you can see I've got a fair bit done. I really wanted to see if the stars were going to work, and they do work. I have seen someone, I'm really sorry, I don't know her name. I thought I'd screen dumped it, so I'm going to have to go looking back, where she actually did some straight stitches around the stars, and they really look nice. And against the whole project, I think I've got that one is sitting at 65.67%. Some of them I can give stats for, but not all of them, of course. Next is a favourite. This was simply called Cat Space. I'm leaning away from the mic, so I might end up having to do it again because it's not going in there. Again, can't see the purples too well, but they're in there. I love this one. And again, because of Down Under Divas and a lot of stitch in black, I got all the black done. And now I'm colour coding or colouring in. And it's really, I'm really enjoying it. Look at the little snippets of colour. Purples and blues and all sorts of greys and all sorts of colours. So the black is all done and now it's just colouring in the little bits and pieces. And I'm really happy with that one. This one got 1,115 stitches and it's on 20 count Aida, so equal to 40 count. So I imagine she could have been, or he could have been quite a big boy if I'd done it on a bigger count. There's before and after. That was getting in the 1,000 stitches in the black and then starting to colour in for another challenge that came across. And well, haven't I got it against the real picture? Let me switch over here. I'm sure I did. I don't suppose it matters. I've shown you the picture. If it shows up, I'll have to just show you in a minute. Okay. Next, Love. What? Love by Danny Elizabeth. I have to be careful. Slight lisp on Z's. Love this. Love watching Kelly from Animal Instincts do hers, and I found it on a stash unload, very cheap. Now I've pulled it back to the cat because I always intended to only do the blue cat first and then move on to the orange one. I did move across there for challenges, but it's come along very nicely. I just love it. Let me have a look. Oh, okay. I was going to say you can't really tell, but that is the top of the ear. But there's some dark stitches that's going to really identify that later. Because I thought, oh, his ears aren't big enough. But there's some darker stitches to go. So it's coming. And it's a nice... in January, I have done some February stitching on this, about 1,000 stitches. But in January, this only got the 441 for the it got a week in the challenge on the cards. But I had to stitch on something. I got desperate last night. So that's before and after. And one thing with these challenges, it does make it, you do sort of, you get a lot done, because I do try and make them when I do try and complete what I say I'm going to do. And that's a full picture. And that orange cat, there's not a lot of orange on it, because I was using it for an orange challenge and I only just made it. But it's absolutely beautiful. I love that. I love that pattern. Okay. Next, red mermaid. Still going on her. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. There is a red mermaid sow for this, and I think below I've got all the ladies that I know of that's joined in. But there's mine. I've basically done the bottom, except for there is some back stitch to be done. But you can see how they've left the fabric alone in the middle, so it identifies it's like there's hardly any stitching down here, and lets the fabric through to sort of imitate that that's her fin coming down, and she's sitting on a rock. And I think I lucked out because it's only sort of a dark line, the darkness in the fabric that she's looking at, but she is beautiful. Look at the face. She's lovely. There's still a hell of a lot to be done in her hair yet. Again, a PDF in Pattern Keeper, but you can't search, so you've got to keep your wits about you and watch where your stitches are. Before and after. So like I said, I'm working on the hair and the face, and I decided to finish her face this time and against the original. She's just beautiful, but see, I've still got a lot to do in that hair yet. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Next we have the Dwarven axe from Modern Folk Embroidery. Last month I showed you this, and I was really annoyed with myself that I hadn't written down the thread name, which I actually have, so it's now on my notes on the back. It's actually circled PR181, which goes from bronze to silver to tin to gold. It's beautiful. That is where I'm up to. I'm hoping to finish it this month. It may take 2 months because I think there's about 3,000 stitches on it. But once you get into a pattern, because I'm a little bit, I've got to have it at least like the 4 strips coming down, and coming down here, and I couldn't handle the coloration, the variegation up here, so I had to do it full grey, but the rest of it should be done in the thread. And as I'm doing that side border, I've tried to follow the same, because it's a repeated shape, so I've tried to follow the same row, same series as you go along. This one is sitting at 79.31%, so yeah, it may take a month and a bit, but that fabric is, the thread is beautiful. Get to where there's no shadow. So it's beautiful before and after. Basically I didn't have as long to go on the border on the side as I thought. So I actually decided to concentrate on that, and when I was finished the border, I came and did that centre spool, and lucky I did, because of course when I went across down the bottom, I went all the way across, and then I had to undo it because the spool sort of blocked that one, and I hadn't picked up on that. My word above the axe says family, and I love it, and that's mine against Jacob's, done in the red. Next we have Fisher King from Long Dog Samplers. I always seem to have at least one long dog going at a time, sometimes more, but at this stage I've only got the one. Still in the frame. Of course, you haven't got the full thing. I showed you last month how I did finish all the crowns. So this time I was filling in all the rest of the dragon, the legs and that, came across here, and then came, look at that, I think I went the right way, bringing that down to sort of bring it to the same level. I think there is something here and something little here, and once they're done I can move the fabric up and then start on the next row of patterns. This one got 1410 this month, and it's being done on 40 count Barnwood from Picture This Plus. Another fabric that is extremely hard to photograph. Last month I was too lazy to take it out of the Q snap, so that's the full straight across. So you can see as I go, I try and run it down at the same time, so I don't have to move the fabric back and forwards. I'm actually moving it down as I go along. What I really should do is just put some extensions in the Q snaps and have the whole thing over, because there's not that much that doesn't fit. So I worked on the dragon's feet, the fish coming off they sort of seem to be hanging off the night that's lower, and of course brought down some more of those ivy leaves or whatever they are coming down past the foot of the ostrich. And against the pattern, I'm technically doing it, I suppose, in reverse, because I'm using the light fabric on the dark the light thread on the dark fabric instead of the dark thread on the light fabric. Another one you haven't seen for a while, that's Winter Quakers. That's my spring Quakers sitting there. I find it amazing because it's called for fabric Dwarf from Picture This Plus. I am using Dwarf from Picture This Plus, and it's nowhere near that pale. I've only put it in sideways this way to try and show it a bit better because it was getting too long. I think I finished the big motif here, the biggest. There's still 3 big ones to go, and I did all these little bits and pieces. It's all those little snow drop things, stars everywhere. That's why aren't you tight? I think the cardboard I put behind them so you can't see through them. It's been a pain. So the little cardinals, I love the little spots of red here and there. That one, holy moly. I am using the Valgani threads, but I'm also using 40 count, so it's not as large, which means I can't use it off the reel. I have to split it into 3 threads. You must keep them very short, which Liz from Canberra knows I hate. You have to keep them short because they don't like, because they're supposed to be stitched as a 3-ply thread, but I'm breaking it down to 1 ply, so you have to be very careful. Like I said, I want this one done. I don't give it enough love, mainly because of the thread breaking. If I'd known how hard it was, I would have got the 28 count and did it on the full thread, but it only got 412 stitches on the, because it got called up, 250 plus stitches for the week. So I originally said I was going to do 1,000 stitches a week on each of these projects, but even I realised that no, I could, but I wouldn't get anything else done. The last whip is Winter White Santa from Mirabilia. This was gifted to me from Gail at Wombat Hollow Crafts. Gail worked, and I have got her starting point, but she obviously works from the top up. It is very big. You can't even photocopy it. I tried to photocopy the 2 halves on A3 paper to mark it off, but it's bigger than A3. I was going to try and finish the top using her way, and there is some blue stitching in there. It's very hard to see. You won't see it in the photograph coming up, but I did pop down and do the tree. The tree's very clever. The greeny red, the pale greeny red, is all 1 thread from Karen water lilies, and it does look like it's tinsel on the tree. There's a lot of white to come, I have done some white again. I have followed challenges on this to start with, but I'm having a bit of trouble with that straight line. So I really need his face done. He's a bit sad without his face. And I don't think there's a lot to do up the top. I might just finish it and then start working down. But the fabric was supplied by Gail because she had already started it, and it's just lovely, and I think it's going to work out really well. So, wrong button. Oh, see, I knew I'd do it. I always do it once. Before and after on Winter Quaker. You know what? That's after and after. God, I'm clever. What's the next one? No, you don't get a before and after this. Obviously, I deleted the... I must have deleted the before when I put it through. Anyway, that's against the finished project. So you can see I've got another 2, 3 big ones to go. But there's just so many of those little white snowflakes everywhere. This is before and after, and again, like I said, you can hardly see it because it's all in the top in blue. I was a bit concerned about it because I think that's sort of his sack, but there is a darker colour around it that once that's done you should be able to see it. So you can see the blue, you know, we'll have the red, and there's a thing, and if necessary I may have to put just a little bit of back stitching around it to make sure it doesn't disappear. Oh, and there's a lot more up the top than what I thought, but not to worry. It's just beautiful though. He's just beautiful. Next, I think we have January stats. I worked on 10 projects, not 12. Probably because, I know, I think they're all on there, not to worry. Can't count. 18,946 stitches for the month. That's monthly by the projects. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that and make sure that I spend some time on the ones that haven't been worked on, because there's usually a good reason that I haven't been working on them, mainly because, you know, like the sunflower one, I love it, but it's coming to the Hardanger stuff, and just at the last minute I'm thinking, did I buy the correct material and is it still going to work? We'll have to see. I've got the bee, and it's ready for its specialty stitches. So again, I'll have to try and work on those on weekends when I've got more time to sit down and just relax and just concentrate on doing the stitching, because I don't want to ruin them. Other than that, that is it for this month. Like I said, I will check, and if the fan is too noisy I'll come back and do it again, not that you'll know. Stay safe. Oh, I have got some, well, it's exciting news for me. A lovely lady from America who we have been chatting on and off in the comments and through email is in Australia, and we're going to meet up sometime this or next month, and it's very exciting. I won't give a name because I didn't ask, but she's over here with her family, and we're only an hour and a half away, so it's nothing for me to drop down there and pop in and actually meet her, which I think's absolutely lovely that she approached me and said, could we do it, because I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, stay safe, take care in either the cold or the heat, and I will see you next month. Bye for now.